And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Cheap Ludes, and I'm here with a little bit of a different kind of video. I decided that I did not feel like doing any 2K content tonight, so I'm going to be talking about the NBA draft. And just looking through the draft, I stumbled across this CBS Draft Grade article written by Gary Parrish and Kyle Boone, who they just sound like guys who definitely know about basketball but have never really played it before. I could be wrong about that. But Kyle Boone definitely sounds like a name of somebody who's really into the sport but has never played it at a high level. Either way, I'm interested to see what they say about these draft and grade them, or these draftees, I should say, and grade them, but I will also be grading them too. So let's get started. We got some draft trades in the mix as well, which they do recaps, so I'll read a bit of that as well. Number 1, Cade Cunningham. They gave it an A+. I would give it an A. And let me explain why. Number 1, A+. I don't know about Cade Cunningham. He's so loftily hyped that I don't want to give this pick an A+, and the reason for that is the smartest pick that they could have made. But I feel like the expectations on Cade Cunningham are so great that it's actually kind of like tough on him personally, so I don't know how well he's going to do. And also, Detroit, the organization, is such a mess right now as far as their team that it might actually have been smarter for them to trade the number 1 pick. I'm not saying it was for sure, but you could argue that it was. Just for an example, the package the Thunder offered them was a great package. I would have given them an A too. I would probably agree and say it was an A+, just because it's the no-brainer consensus number 1, but people are going to argue about this forever. How many number 1 busts have we had? How many number 1s that have lived up to the hype? You just never really know. Having the number 1 pick is honestly kind of nerve-wracking. Sometimes I feel like as a fan base, you know? Most of the time you have the number 1 pick, there's a consensus. Like 2008, for example. I remember leading up to the number 1 pick for the Bulls and actually thinking like, man, maybe we should draft Michael Beasley. Like, Michael Beasley might be the guy. I know Derrick Rose is the hometown. We might have to draft Michael Beasley. So, it's nerve-wracking. Though, I will say their team is in a disarray. But it's an A, I would say A or A+ for sure. Because adding Cade to the lineup will inevitably make them better, especially because their guard play is absolutely horrendous. And they at least have Jeremy Grant. That's something. We'll talk about the rest of their moves later, I guess. Houston Rockets, number 2 pick, Jalen Green. Once again, I will give this an A. I don't think A+ is correct for this. I do like Jalen Green a lot. I mean, my man rolled up to the draft in a sequenced pinstripe suit with bell bottoms, and he has peace signs tattooed on his hand. He's clearly a super tight individual, and I'm not saying that sarcastically in any way. Like, he's sick. The problem I have is that they already kind of have a Jalen Green-like player literally on their roster in Kevin Porter Jr. already. So it's kind of interesting that they would go this route, but this is without a doubt the second best player in the draft, potentially. So if you're the Houston Rockets, you kind of have to make this pick. So I would give it an A just for that reason. But he is NBA ready more so than I think a lot of the people in the draft are. And the reason for that is just because he played in the G League. He played against a heightened sense of competition already and played very well. So I think Jalen Green is going to come out of the gates doing incredibly well. It just remains to be seen what's going to happen with the Rockets in general. But I think either way, like what they've done since blowing it up last season, I think has been incredible. I would give this pick an A for sure. Evan Mobley to the Cleveland Cavaliers. I would give this pick an A. And the reason I would give this pick an A, without a doubt, the best possible player that they could have drafted at this position for sure. And from what I understand, this is the player they wanted all along. Is it the player they wanted over the other 2 guys? Probably not. I would say that they probably wanted Jalen Green a little bit more. That just kind of goes in line with their draft history the last few years. But this is the player they knew they were going to get, and I think it works really well for them. Definitely star potential. He could be an incredibly good big man in this league. I've seen comparisons to a lot of obviously good contemporary big men classics. Great players from the past. The one thing I will say is I never give a big man in the draft that gets drafted this high an A+, because for every Joel Embiid, there's like 5 Greg Odens. Who, by the way, Greg Oden was fire until he got hurt, so not really his fault, but I wanted to mention that. Number 4, the Toronto Raptors. Small forward Scotty Barnes, Florida State. People were not hyped. People were not stoked about this pick, and the fact that CBS Sports is giving it an A- kind of cements the idea in my head that they just pretty much don't want to like shit on any NBA teams, so they're basically just kind of like telling everyone they did a good job. Basically, they're just giving them participation trophies, like, yeah, you did a good job. Shout out to Lonzo Ball and the Bulls. Just saw that. Yeah, I also usually trust the front office of Toronto, and Scotty Barnes is really just the most Toronto pick they could have made. Nobody should be shocked. Everyone was shocked, but no one was actually shocked. You know what I mean? This is exactly what you need to see from the Raptors right here. His work ethic draws rave reviews from people who know him. As soon as Masai and the Raptors saw that, they said, yep, that's our guy right there. He does not have a great three-point shot. That, although, has never stopped the Raptors from either drafting or trading for a player that plays the similar positions to Scotty Barnes and does what he does. He's a defense-first wing. Toronto loves that. I would give it like an A-, A-2. Yeah, B+. Still a decent pick. I do think that it would have been smarter, especially with like Pascal Siakam and the players they do have available, because they already have like OG and Pascal. So I don't know exactly what they're going to do with Scotty Barnes. I think there's a couple guys later that would have been smarter picks for them at the 4. I'm not saying even Jalen Suggs, to be completely honest with you guys. I think there's guys later that would have been better picks, but whatever. Orlando Magic, Jalen Suggs. CBS Sports is giving this an A+. I'll be honest, I don't agree with him at all. I think it was the best player from a skill standpoint and a hype standpoint still available. So I understand why the Magic drafted him. But you also got to look at the Magic's roster. They have a massive, massive logjam of young guards. And it's going to be interesting to see what they do, because they drafted Jalen Suggs. Last year they drafted Cole Anthony. They have former number 1 overall pick Markelle Fultz, who people seem to think is like 37, but he's actually like not old. He's like 3 years into his stay in the league. I think 4th season maybe. And he's just starting to turn it around as well. People also kind of forget that they traded Aaron Gordon in the middle of the season and brought in RJ Hampton. That's another guard whose mouth they have to feed now. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do there. I'm guessing they'll probably be active on the trade market during the deadline, possibly the offseason. But I think Jalen Suggs himself, I would give a B. I'm not as high on him as everyone else is. I really don't think he's that great. I think he's going to be a very solid guard in the NBA. But I think he's going to be a little bit more Austin Rivers than Steph Curry. You know what I mean? That's just how I feel. No shots on Austin Rivers, but that's how I feel. Oklahoma City Thunder, Josh Giddey. Okay, first off, CBS Sports can't even give Josh Giddey lower than a B. You know you're not in a good place here. I don't think this is as crazy as it might seem, says CBS Sports. I would have gone Jonathan Kuminga, but the first 5 picks had begun to steam clear over the past few days, and the next 5 were nowhere near as predictable. Okay, it's like you wanna trash him, but you can't. I would give this pick a C, because I just don't know much about Josh Giddey. Main concerns are he's not a three-point shooter, and his athleticism, which is like, if you combine those 2 things, those are sketch. Those are definitely sketch. Like, if you're not that athletic, at least athletic enough to compete with NBA level defense and talent, and then you also can't shoot threes. That's typically not great, but he is like younger too. Big build too. I don't know. He's really tough to rank because I just don't know what's going to happen with him. So I'd give him a C. Golden State Warriors from Minnesota, Jonathan Kuminga, A+. I agree. A+, absolutely. This is who I truly believe Toronto should have drafted instead of Scotty Barnes. I feel like a lot of people do believe that as well. This dude is crazy. Like, he's huge. He is positionless essentially, so he can guard so many different positions. Is Golden State going to keep Kuminga to develop him? Absolutely not. I would say 0% chance they do that. This A+ is not only just for how good of a pick Kuminga is at the 7, it's also an A+ for Golden State because they lucked out so hard right here. Let me explain why. This is why they lucked out so hard. If, for whatever reason, Toronto grabbed Scotty Barnes, Josh Giddey went to Oklahoma City, and Kuminga fell to Golden State. Kuminga should be in either Oklahoma City, Toronto, or Orlando right now. He should not have dropped this much. And people can say what they will, but I think Golden State has actually somehow managed to increase what kind of return they can bring in. Correct me if I'm wrong. If they were to move the 7th pick, the 14th pick, and Wiseman, because that pick is now Jonathan Kuminga, they have increased the value of which they can bring in rather than when it was just the 7th pick and it would have been probably someone like Josh Giddey or like, you know, Scotty Barnes or some of these other guys later on, Franz Wagner. Because of that, I think they're going to be able to bring in something truly special to compete and take a run at a couple more championships with Curry and Clay. That's how I feel about the whole thing. Who that could be, I'm not sure, but watch the Warriors, man. By trade deadline, I guarantee Kuminga's off the squad. He's somewhere else, and they brought in something huge. Orlando Magic from Chicago, which is not something that I would like to see. Franz Wagner. First off, he's very young, so there's a lot of room to develop. This is the sentence that's very important. He played 2 years of college basketball on Michigan, and he was never a top 2 player on his own team. People call him a shooter, but he never really made his 3-pointers that well. People love his team defense, but no, this was a terrible pick. I hate this pick so much. I would literally give this like a D. I don't like Franz Wagner. This is Nick Stauskas 2.0, but he shoots worse. But he's a little bit better defensively. The other problem is not, like I talked about with the Jalen Suggs pick, there's like a massive logjam at the guard position. And they're all young, and they're all guys you kind of want to give some run to see how good they actually are. And now you're bringing in like a shooting guard / small forward to, I guess, I don't know, like replace Evan Fournier. Is that kind of what they were going for with this pick? I'm not really sure. Like, they have his brother. I don't like it. I don't like this pick. I feel like there's guys that they should have picked, and I'll talk about them in a second. Number 9, Sacramento Kings, Davion Mitchell. I just don't understand what Sacramento's doing. I truly do not understand what they're doing right now. How many guards does one team need? Right? How many guards are you guys picking in the lottery? You have De'Aaron Fox. You have Tyrese Halliburton. Why do you need Davion Mitchell at this point? This is like going to be the early 2010 Suns situation again, where they just have like 6 guards that are playing almost like borderline all-star level. Right? Like Davion Mitchell, why did they take him? Why? They have Buddy Hield. I know they're not the same position, but I'm saying like guard position. I mean, they have Buddy Hield, they have De'Aaron Fox, they have Tyrese Halliburton. Why did you take Davion Mitchell? Why didn't you take Zaire Williams? Is what I'm saying. I don't like this pick at all. Like, from the Kings' perspective. That being said, Davion Mitchell, everything they wrote about him in this little article, all correct. Him as a player, A+. Like, I think he's a great prospect, and any other team that would have drafted him, I would have said was an excellent draft pick. Because it's Sacramento, and they're just playing guard roulette, I hate it. Memphis Grizzlies from New Orleans, Zaire Williams. A+. Literally A+. The fact that this is much higher than most people had Williams. The fact that this guy fell out of the top 10 is crazy to me. I really do think it's going to take him a couple of years. The Brandon Ingram comparisons are not wrong with Zaire Williams. Like, they're not wrong at all. Like, he's going to look like trash probably for the first year to 2 years of his career. And then he'll blossom into a very good player. Is he going to be a superstar? I don't know. I don't think so. Probably not. But is he going to be an incredibly good player, borderline all-star? Yeah, absolutely. 100%. No question about it. And this was a perfect pick by Memphis. Perfect pick. This is exactly who they should have picked. They have enough at the forward position specifically, in regards to like very solid but overall unremarkable NBA talent, and guys like Brandon Clark and Kyle Anderson, guys who can definitely play that position while Zaire kind of warms up to the NBA and starts to develop a little bit. So they have that under lock, and I really do think that this is one of the best picks in the draft, no question. And I think personally Sacramento made a massive mistake not picking up Zaire Williams right here. And that has nothing to do with Davion Mitchell, because Davion Mitchell is sick. But this would have been a perfect player for Sacramento, especially because we know they're going to be trash for the next like 6 years. Is give them all the time to develop. They have terrible player development too, so whatever. Charlotte Hornets, Boo Knight. Okay, first off, the one thing I will say is this is another team with just so many guards on it, because they still have LaMelo, obviously, whose minutes are going nowhere, as they should. They should not go anywhere. They have Devontae Graham. They have Terry Rozier. Now they have Boo Knight. And they have, like, 3 point guards for no reason. I just don't understand it. That being said, good pickup. I would say, yeah, A. A is good. I think this is probably the best player available, and especially what they need. But the problem I have with it is they absolutely needed some help at the forward position, like real bad. So that would have been really nice, and a big man. They need both of those things, but they could have done a lot worse. This is a good pick overall. My voice just cracked because I'm so excited. I'm not, but I think it's a good pick. Get off my screen, Carson Wentz. All right. Wait. Carson Wentz is already hurt. Oh my god. All right. I don't wish that on Carson Wentz. I just think it's funny. Number 12, San Antonio Spurs, Joshua Primo. C+, the audacity. This is the lowest pick you gave so far. Out of all these picks, you gave the lowest pick to the San Antonio Spurs for drafting Primo. This is the biggest reach of the draft, but Primo's only 18 and he is a shooter. Even so, I'd probably go a lower grade if this were a different franchise than San Antonio. No, I would go B+ for this pick. I think CBS Sports is wild, and this was a really good pick for San Antonio. Their rebuild is going to take a while. Drafting a super young, super raw prospect like this at this point was a good pickup. They could have went with a safer player in regards to some guys we'll talk about later, like Moses Moody or Trey Murphy, or obviously like Corey Kispert, who's like a San Antonio style guy. But I think Josh Primo, I think, was a pretty good pick. Indiana Pacers, Chris Duarte. He's a little bit old at 24. He is like an NBA ready guy, or so they say. I don't know. I think this was an okay pick. I would give it like a B- or a B. I don't know much about Chris Duarte. I'm not even sure if I'm saying his name correctly, but he seems pretty good. Yeah, I mean, fine. Solid pick by Indiana. Even if he's a rotational bench guy, he still should be pretty good from day one. Not a lot of future with him at 24, obviously, but maybe he comes out in hoops. Who knows? Number 14, the Golden State Warriors had, I think, the second best draft. Yeah, out of all the teams. Moses Moody was an excellent pick. Straight up A+. Great. Once again, will he be on the roster? Probably not. I'm guessing he's going to be included with a trade package, including Kuminga, possibly Wiseman for something big, because they're going to want to go for a title run. Peshkal would be another guy who might be included in that trade package. I'm guessing that's what's going to happen. I guess we'll find out. But other than that, excellent pick at the 14th spot. I really do believe that this would have been a better pick for San Antonio, but with their actual schedule of rebuilding, I think this makes sense for them, so whatever. Moody's more of a guy you draft and let him get runs almost immediately. Primo's a guy you can go stash in the G League for a couple years while he works it out. Number 15, small forward Corey Kispert. I would say this is like a B, C plus B pick. And I never trust a white guy from Gonzaga, Creighton, Duke, or Drake. I never trust a white guy from any of those schools. Just because we've seen it happen too much. They get pumped up in college, and then they come to the NBA, and they're just, like, pretty okay. That being said, nothing wrong with Kispert. I mean, he looks like exactly what you would expect him to be like. He's a 3-and-D pure shooter. He can play the wing. He can play the guard a little bit, too, if he needs to. He's not really that great of a ball handler. The problem I have with this pick and why I'm giving it like a C or even possibly like a C plus or a D minus, I would give it just straight C. And the reason I would do that is because the Washington Wizards have like 14 small forwards on their lineup. They literally just brought in Kuzma, and KCP is also a shooting guard / small forward. So they just have so many Rui Hachimuras in the mix. Like, they have too many forwards. They're going to have to figure this out in some way. I don't really know if they're going to have to make some moves in the offseason or what. But for that reason, I don't even think he's really going to get enough run to properly develop the other skills that he's going to need to be like a very productive NBA small forward. So it really comes down to how the Wizards handle him, and that is basically what's going to determine his grade. I'm not sure. Houston Rockets, Alperen Sengun. Honestly, it's to Oklahoma City. Whatever. Analytic guys love this guy. Like, in basketball, crackhead analytic dudes think he's like a godsend. He's the future of the center position probably or something. He's like the next Dirk. I don't know. I'll be honest. Saying Seguin is an incredible force around the basket, both in the post and facing up, it's not really something you can say because we haven't really seen him play against NBA big men. So we really don't know. I don't know. Like, he's not a great shooter either. I don't think A plus is right. For Oklahoma City, though, I give it like a B plus. Like, it's a good prospective pick, especially because of how high people are on him. It's a good pickup. Trey Murphy. Okay. New Orleans Pelicans from Memphis. I love this pick so much. Dude. This pick is so good. I'm mad at Memphis because I think Trey Murphy would have been an excellent pickup for them as well. A future squad of like Ja Morant, Trey Murphy, Zaire, Jaren Jackson, and question mark would have been good. But at the same time, I think this is a really good pickup for New Orleans as well. I just don't know how this meshes with their future plans, but because I feel like at that point you have to kind of run Zion at the power forward because you also have to run Ingram. You could use Trey Murphy as a bench guy as well. I love Trey Murphy. I think he is one of the best picks in the draft at 17, so they really A+ on this one, no question. Oklahoma City Thunder from Miami. Trey Mann. Yeah, I'd give it like a B. Solid. They're building for the future. I'm not sure how good Trey Mann is going to be. I guess we'll find out. Somebody send me the link to his mixtapes if you have them, because I've been trying to find them for the last like 3 days. Charlotte Hornets from New York. A+ pick on this one. Dead serious. I'm not even kidding. They traded away a future first-round pick to the Knicks. Whatever. First off, they got a hyper-athletic power forward. That's exactly what they need because they have like no big men whatsoever. At least no like super good ones. So this is exactly what I would give this pick an A+ by Charlotte. I'm not even kidding. Atlanta Hawks. Everyone thinks this is the sneakiest pick in the draft, and I would say A+. And the reason I say that is because this is probably the highest upside player that was left in the draft, and if you're Atlanta, even though you have a massive quantity of wings already, especially a quantity of wings that do basically the same thing, you still pull the trigger on it because you don't really know. His talent is crazy. I feel like Michael Porter Jr. is kind of a pretty appropriate comparison, so A+ for that. Los Angeles Clippers, Keon Johnson. Yeah, I don't agree with the A+ here, and the reason for that is the Clippers player development is just not that great, and I feel like they're just going to kind of stick him at the end of the bench and never play him. That's because that's what the Clippers have been doing for the last couple seasons with their young guys. So I think this wasn't really a great player because I feel like Keon Johnson's a player that would have benefited a lot from a team that was willing to let him get minutes and learn things. And the Clippers just aren't really that team. But who knows what happens with Kawhi Leonard, so I don't know. Indiana Pacers from the Lakers, Isaiah Jackson. I don't agree with CBS at all. I think this is an A pick. This is exactly what the Pacers need, especially with their willingness to shop Miles Teller. I was about to say Miles Teller. Miles Turner. I think they needed like a defensive first power forward, and I think Isaiah Jackson was a really good pickup for them. Like, I don't think they could have done a better job at the 22 pick. I'm shocked that CBS Sports gave him a B+. Houston Rockets, Usman Garuba. First off, A+ name, super sick. And for the Houston Rockets, I think this is a no-brainer too. You grab the dude who has the highest ceiling at this point at the 23 pick, especially when you are not hoping to compete for at least like 4 or 5 years. Who cares? Yeah, Garuba is definitely a great pickup on this point. Like, they need big men. They have like none. I mean, they have Christian Wood, obviously, who's great. They have a bright future, man. I think this was a really good like bench guy pickup who could turn into like an incredibly serviceable NBA player if given the right opportunity, and I think Houston has that. So, Houston again, Josh Christopher. Yeah, interesting pick. Like I said, I feel like he's going to be a pretty solid overall guard. He's Jalen Green's friend, so that's obviously smart. I don't know. It is what it is. Am I getting word that the Bulls have just signed Alex Caruso? This is big. That's an A+ signing. Just wait for my free agency video. Oh, I'm about to be hyped. New York Knicks, Quentin Grimes. I actually like this pick a lot for the New York Knicks. The reason I like that is because he is a defensive first shooting guard, and Tom Thibodeau loves those. I think he'll do really well for the Knicks. Could they have done better than him? I don't think so. To be honest, at this point, I don't think there's anyone that makes more sense for the Knicks than Grimes. For what they need, and how Thibodeau. Trust me, I know Tom Thibodeau. All right. Denver Nuggets. Nashawn Highland, VCU. I like it. I like it. The reason I like it is because I don't know much about this guy. And Denver, I completely trust their front office in regards to drafting. I would probably give it a B+ as well because I just trust them that much. Oh, by the way, the Knicks, I would give them a B+ as well because I don't think he's really that good, but he makes perfect sense for that team. Josh Christopher, probably like a B or something. I don't know. It keeps Jalen Green happy, so for that reason, B right off the bat. The Brooklyn Nets, shooting guard, Cameron Thomas. Okay, I hate this. The reason I say that is because literally what the Brooklyn Nets need so bad is big men. They need big men so bad. So badly. If you watch that series with Milwaukee, yes, obviously the injuries killed them as well, but what also killed them is they had absolutely zero interior presence. And Joe Harris couldn't hit threes, and Kevin Durant's feet are too big. That's the other issue. But I just feel like they should have reached out for a big man. But I guess at the 27th pick, Cameron Thomas actually looks really good, so I'd probably give this like a, for potential, like an A, but for team fit, like a B, B+. 76ers, Jaden Springer. Shout out to all my Jadens out there. This is actually a really good pick. I would say that, like B+. They're right on this. But I do believe that AO would have been a better pick for them, especially with them looking to ship Ben Simmons. It all depends on what happens with Ben Simmons, I guess. Brooklyn Nets. Okay. Yeah, this is much better. This is a much better pick. Sharp's a good rebounder. Yeah, this is the pick I was talking about when I was talking about their original first pick, or the 27th pick. This is definitely better. I would say this is an A, to be completely honest. They don't need this man to do anything except play defense and rebound the ball. That's it. And run fast. He does all those things. So, this is an A pick. Number 30, Santi Aldama. Yeah, C+. I mean, this I would go C+, whatever. Injury concerns. You're not really sure how well he's going to fare against NBA talent. All those. It just feels like they were drafting to replace Valanciunas. like immediately. We're gonna talk real quickly about some second round highlights real quick. Isaiah Todd, once again, more forwards for the Wizards. They don't need them. Oklahoma City, Jeremiah Robinson Earl, Villanova. B, who cares? Jason Preston. Like I said, they're not good at development, so the fact that they keep picking up these developmental projects doesn't bode well for them. Rokas Jokubaitis. I love the Knicks, dude. I love the Knicks. All right. Yeah, this is this just looks like a player Knicks fans would hype when he like drops 11 and 5 one game. A for that reason. Herbert Jones. I actually like Herbert Jones a lot, and I think this makes sense for the Pelicans, so I think B+ or A makes a lot of sense here. Miles McBride. I'll be honest, I don't know much about Miles McBride. I heard he's good in general, like a good defender and stuff like that, just like everything that's saying in this article, but I don't know much about him, but CBS apparently loves him. Detroit Pistons, JT Thor from Auburn. At the 37 pick, when you have absolutely nothing on your team, yeah, you take chances. So I think this was actually a good pick by them. Chicago Bulls, Ayo Dosunmu. Oh. A, you say? The audacity. The audacity, dude. No way. He should have been gone in the first round, by the way. I am so happy we didn't draft Matthew Hurt because that's exactly what I thought we were going to get here. Now, I've heard some Bulls fans say some pretty valid concerns about Ayo himself. Mainly that we basically have two Kobe Whites on the team. We have one that's better at offense and one that's better at defense. That's not completely wrong, I don't think, but yeah, I do think it was a great pick. I think this is an A+ pick. Like, this is not a player I thought that was going to be there in the second round, so I love it. Sacramento Kings, Neemias Queta. It's just Simbular again. I don't know. Sacramento. Jared Butler. Getting red flagged medically at the NBA draft combine may have torpedoed Butler's stock. Yeah, that typically will do it. We could see a Michael Porter situation here where he's red flagged and then ends up being great. I don't know. It's tough. Joe Wieskamp from Iowa. Bad. He makes sense, though. He's the type of role player that San Antonio loves. And I'll be honest, I don't really know much of these other guys, so I'm just going to stop, except that Yuhan Bagaria from Guadalupe, right? Guadalupe? The hell is that? Am I saying that right? Paris basketball, okay. Oh, my God. Oh, okay, this guy. I know about this guy. As always, it has been your boy Cheap Ludes. Comment down below what you thought if I disagree with me on some stuff. Also, comment down below if you're hyped to see Alex Caruso donning the Bulls colors. Also, I'm going to start a GoFundMe so you guys can buy me a Alex Caruso jersey. Have a good night, you guys. Peace.